James, you have quite a broad background.
Thank you.
What did you do?
I've been trying to explain this to people whenever I'm meeting them over coffee.
Mm-hmm.
They always ask me, what do you do? And I say, it's quite messy. So I did psychology as an undergraduate, and then now I do data science. But before that, I did education and physics. And today I'm presenting a paper on statistics. So it's all a mess, really. So what I would say is that I'm a computational social scientist, possibly.
And is that combination or that mess helping you?
Yes, it's creating a lot of interesting areas where I can find, say, for example, recently I did this paper where I use a lot of LLM chatbots to simulate a society. So that's data science, computing, and then merge that into social science, and then we can see what happens. It's great. It's you see a lot of stuff that most other people are not doing, and in academia, it's always good to be doing something that other people are not doing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, and tell us about your current paper. What's it about?
So the one I'm presenting today is about how to do experiments better. Mm-hmm. So consider if you want to test 2 drugs or 2 adverts. You want to learn about which one is the best one.
Yep.
But you also don't want to minimize the number of participants that you potentially waste on the one that's less good. And this is quite important in terms of, like, for example, a drug test. Mm-hmm. If it's a very important, if it's a life or death situation, you want to minimize the people that die.
Sort of makes sense.
Yeah, sort of makes sense. So traditionally, you would just have to equally balance the 2 cases, 50 people drug A, 50 people drug B.
Yeah.
That's quite costly. You potentially lose half of your participants. What if we can sequentially allocate them to dynamically adjust how many people we allocate to each case, so that we learn about which one is best while also minimize the number of people who potentially ends up in the worst one. So that's what the paper I'm presenting today is about. It's about extending a solution to this problem to a new statistical distribution. So it can see application in things like cancer recovery, stuff like that.
Did you make it work?
It worked, yes, it worked. And then so the specifics is that we applied something that has already, so it's a solution to a math problem that was already proposed like some decades ago, but it has never been implemented into this specific problem. So we took that math solution, we played around with it, we added a little constraint factor and be like, let's also make sure that we learn enough about the experiments. And then we simulated how that's going to happen. So we simulated a lot of dummy experiments. So think of them as little drug trials. And we simulated millions and millions of them. And then compared how different experimental designs would work in this condition. And it worked. It's great.
Good news for all of us, I think.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay. So what will you research next? What's the next big thing?
Well, I just submitted a paper yesterday to Nature Machine Intelligence on using LLMs to simulate societies. Which is slightly unrelated to the one before, but in academia, when you submit something, it's still gonna take ages to come back. But what we think we might be able to do is that we can combine doing experiments and doing simulation about societies. So imagine if you can simulate, say, 100 little societies, you can then try policies. Instead of drugs, you're trying policies. But because you're simulating entire societies, there is a computational cost. So you can still use the sort of adaptive sampling algorithm that I will be presenting today to help with those kind of simulation studies on an unprecedented scale. So that's something that I would very much like to do. But alas, it's difficult. So hopefully.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
This conference is in your hometown of London.
Yes.
How's that?
Oh, very convenient. I just jump on the tube and 1 hour later I'm here. I don't need to fly anywhere.
Okay, so tell me, you arrived here yesterday and then what?
Well, I went to see the keynotes, chatted with people, basically just hunted the speakers down at the coffee place, and the lunch was very nice. The puddings is always very, very tempting. Yeah, and just fascinating stuff, like being able to be exposed to different areas of research around the world as well, being such an international conference as it is. Yeah.
Okay. If you were to compare this conference to others, how do you feel? What makes this one different?
I haven't been to that many technical conferences in the computing field because my training was in psychology. But I would say that compared to some of the I guess more crowded conferences, this one is a lot more intimate. You get to like chat with the presenters. Like you need to wait for a little bit when the crowd dies down, but you get a chance. And the presenters are all really nice. Like I mean, they are very big names, and yet they chat with you. No matter if you are an undergrad or a postgrad student, some conferences can be more uptight, different culture. So I really like this. It helps that it's very much near where I live. So yeah.
Okay. Anything you're still looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to my presentation, which is later today. It's first of the last session. Hopefully, it's quite scary because I'll be on the big stage.
Yeah.
It's a very big screen, and the big screens are always a little bit intimidating. So,
I think you will be fine. James,
thank you.
Good luck, and
thank you
so
very much. Thank you. All right.